Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about setting intentions, and we're going to spend a little bit of time exploring how to do this with some self-compassion and some self-kindness. Carmelo Anthony says, every morning you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. So, one of the first things that you can do, or we can do when we're setting our intentions, is to take a step back and look at the overall picture of our lives, right? In this moment, how is my life? And even in just doing that, you may be surprised at what reveals itself as you contemplate the intentions that you're setting, whether it's for the new year or any time. Last week, we spoke about the beginner's mind, right? And bringing a beginner's mind to how we approach the new year and any goals that we'd like to set at any time or any challenges that we're facing. So it's really important to do this. And in this beginner's mind attitude, as you take a step back, really try to see the bigger picture with fresh eyes. And really, the most important thing in intention setting is befriending yourself and bringing some kindness to yourself as you set your goals. This whole notion of new year, new you is great, and setting resolutions is great. But we have to be careful because it can also encourage self criticism or even self loathing. Because on some level, it might imply that you're so flawed that you need a total reinvention. And that, of course, is never the case, especially when you look at the overall picture of your life. So science suggests that the best way to create healthy habits is through implementing self-compassion and self-love in the process of setting your New Year's resolutions or any resolutions. So rather than shaming ourselves into shape, adopting self-compassion, that actually is the resolution. It's the only one you need. It's the one from which other healthy habits can really grow. So allowing the beginner's mind to be the first step in assessing where you are in this moment then gives you perhaps a more objective perspective. And in that objective perspective, it actually becomes easier to accept how things are right now. And, it's been shown that people who are more self compassionate are more likely to have healthier habits, to eat healthier, to exercise more, and in general, just take care of themselves better. So I want to just spend a couple of minutes giving a couple of tips for goal setting, and really for not just goal setting, but a healthier relationship with yourself. Accept yourself as you are right now. Give yourself a break. And just in giving yourself a break, perhaps it's easier to accept where you actually are in this point and move forward from that point. And number two, be grateful for your body. You don't have to love every part of your body, but you can be grateful for it. And this kind of a shift in perspective can allow you to appreciate that it takes you where you need to go, and it allows you to do the things that you do. Even if you have some limitations, there is still so much to be grateful for. And when you can appreciate your body or yourself in this way, you can begin to unhook yourself from the external pressures, right? We all kind of feel these external pressures for you to look or to be a certain way. And then another tip, speak to yourself like a friend. We would never speak to a friend the way many of us speak to ourselves. And if we did, chances are they wouldn't be our friend for very long. So it could look something like this. Talking to yourself in an empowering way could be, you got this. We're good here. Everything is really fine. This is hard, but you're not alone. You're not the first person to experience this. Keep going. You can do this. So, being your own champion, the way you would encourage a friend, try talking to yourself that way. And also reflecting on and using some of your past experiences, in particular, maybe some of the more difficult ones, some struggles, that can give you strength. If I can get through X, then I can get through this. If I can do Y, then I can do this. When I did Z, I implemented a clear strategy, and I can do the same here. And then last but not least, and maybe my favorite, meditate, right? Meditation really helps to develop those skills and the awareness necessary to become more self-compassionate as the foundation for change. And one thing I just want to touch on briefly is that, there's this fear that many of us have that we're going to slide into some kind of resignation and inaction. But that's really a complete misunderstanding of what self compassion is. It is a common misconception that self compassion is self indulgent or self centered, promotes laziness, and results in a lack of motivation. But the opposite is, in fact, true, and it's shown by the research. When people treat themselves kindly rather than critically, they're more likely to believe that they can improve, correct mistakes, and re engage with goals after veering off course, because all of us at some point veer off course. And the science also shows that people who are motivated by self compassion are able to stick to their goals better in the long run, with a much higher rate of success over the people who are motivated by self criticism. And the really difficult thing about self criticism is that often it induces shame. And shame is one of the most difficult emotions that we as humans have. It leaves you feeling embarrassed, self conscious, or worse, humiliated and filled with self loathing, right? And this is just not a good starting point for trying to make some positive changes. And it's much harder to get back up after perceiving yourself as failing at a goal or a New Year's resolution. And it's much harder to persevere if you're coming from a place of shame and self-loathing. So I don't want to spend too much more time about intention setting, but there's a lot of work out there on it, and you can certainly explore it. Dan Harris, he says, self-compassion holds you accountable without shame. And for those of you who don't know who Dan Harris is, he is the author of 10% Happier and also an anchor on Good Morning America. So last week, we explored the possibilities that come with new beginnings. And in this meditation, which we're going to go into shortly, we're going to explore intention setting for the new year ahead and how to go about it coming from a place of self-compassion and self-love, as opposed to allowing our inner voice to steer the rocky ship of self-criticism or worse, self-loathing. So let's all take a nice deep breath in and out. And just finding a comfortable posture for yourselves. And we're going to move into our formal meditation. So perhaps closing the eyes and perhaps not, whatever you feel comfortable with. And so if your eyes are going to be closed, feel free to do so now. And then just taking a moment to settle in, and just allowing yourself to drop into the body. Perhaps even inviting a sense of arrival, not just in the space or the chair that you're sitting in, but in the body. and allowing your body to ground you into the present moment. Maybe feeling your sits bones on the chair, and your feet on the floor. And just perhaps having that sense of knowing that you're sitting here, knowing that you're fully present in the body and in this moment. And now perhaps turning even more inward and finding the breath. Maybe just taking a few easy breaths, releasing any unnecessary tension. If it feels right for you, maybe just easing the neck, moving your head, or rolling the shoulders up to the ears and then dropping them down. But begin noticing your breathing. Just feeling your body breathing in and breathing out. And as you're staying close to the breath, perhaps acknowledging how the breath is nourishing the body with every inhalation and releasing toxins on every exhalation. And just appreciating the life-sustaining breath and what it does in each moment without us really having to do anything at all. And in that spirit, maybe just seeing if you can allow the body just to breathe you, being with it like a friend. But also noticing that the body breathes itself. You don't need to do anything at all. And perhaps just noticing the subtle movement of the body with each inhalation and each exhalation. With a gentle rocking motion of the body with the breath. Really tuning in to that internal rocking motion that the breath affords the body. And perhaps as this gentle rocking motion to and fro with each inhalation and exhalation is occurring, perhaps feeling a caress, an internal sensation of being caressed by your own breath, like a dear friend. consoling, friendly, caressing with each inhalation and each exhalation. And maybe just taking a moment to take stock, take your own internal temperature. How am I now in this moment? And just letting it be exactly as it is. But on the next breath, the invitation is to think about the possibilities that come with new beginnings. And perhaps viewing these possibilities through the lens of a caring friend. So perhaps that's different than the normal lens. Perhaps the normal lens is a more self critical lens. And as you're viewing yourself through this lens, the new beginnings through this lens, maybe just taking a moment to appreciate all the good in you, all the good that you bring to the world, the uniqueness of being you. I'm thinking of perhaps one quality that you admire about yourself. Perhaps that evokes a feeling of kindness towards yourself. And so having this kinder, more tender view of yourself while not ignoring perhaps some areas that you may wish to improve or change, or some new habits that you may wish to adopt, but simply holding at the same time a kindness towards yourself. And from that place of kindness, is there a shift or change that you'd like to have happen? And maybe just taking a moment to delve a little bit into this. What do I want? What do I really want? And why? Why do I wish to implement a change? Perhaps several things have come up in this moment of contemplation, but I invite you to choose one. Perhaps for you it's losing weight or starting a new hobby or taking a course of some kind. So, whatever it is that you are contemplating, your intention, just holding that in your awareness. And if it is losing weight, think about why. So rather than thinking about how you'd like to lose weight because you will look slimmer. Instead, focusing on how you'll feel as a result of losing weight. So I want to lose 10 pounds so that I have more energy to play with my dog or my children or grandchildren, or so that I feel healthier. And if it's taking up a hobby, rather than thinking that you want to take up landscape photography because you'll be regarded as more accomplished, you might instead think, oh, I want to take up photography because I'd like to spend more time in nature where I feel a sense of wonder and groundedness. Or if it's some kind of a course, instead of thinking you're taking the course because it'll look good on your resume, perhaps focusing on how, as a lifelong learner, it's just so satisfying to learn something new. But whatever it is for you, just holding that in your awareness and focusing on how you wish to feel as a result of accomplishing that goal or setting that intention. Maybe tuning into the body when you think about how you wish to feel. And perhaps there's a specific place in the body that mirrors how you wish to feel. Maybe it's a softening in the heart or the chest, a softening or warmth in the belly. Maybe it's an overall warmth and glow. But just seeing if you can tune into any physical sensations that may be associated with the intention that you're setting and how you wish to feel. And maybe it's an emotion, pleasure, joy, satisfaction, maybe even gratitude. But just gently holding these feelings, emotions, and sensations in the body and allowing them to remain in your awareness. And know that you can go back to exploring these at a later time in another meditation. But as you begin to bring your awareness back to the room, the space, just trying to hold on to what has arisen for you. Using that as the basis from which you can formulate a plan and move forward. But beginning with this intention set from a place of kindness, self-love, and self-compassion. So I will I will end our formal meditation with a poem called It Couldn't Be Done. Somebody said it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, "Oh, you'll never do that. At least no one has ever done it." But he took off his coat, he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he'd begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubt or quit it, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands who'll tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you one by one the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. By Edgar Guest. So I invite you to open your eyes, and if you need a little bit of a stretch in your neck or any kind of movement that feels good, wiggling fingers or toes, and just bringing your awareness back. Thank you for your practice. And I just wanted to extend an invitation for the week. So I'd like you to take some time to revisit the intention that you explored today and allow yourself to really think about how it is you wish to feel before putting in place the goals that you set for yourself. And also ask yourself the question, are you setting your goals from a place of self-love or self-criticism? It is so important to remember to have self-compassion in goal setting. Just as referenced in the poem, the approach with a bit of a grin, right, indicates a level of self-kindness, or even having a little bit of lightness or humor in the way that we look at ourselves and the way that we approach life. Not taking ourselves so seriously all the time. There's enough serious stuff going on all around us, right? As we are all aware. And then I just want to say, for many of us, self-kindness and self-compassion is really quite difficult. So if you're feeling that way, know that you're not alone. It's very common that it's very difficult for us to offer the same kind of self-kindness that we do to our friends or loved ones or others. It's very difficult for many of us to bring that level of kindness to ourselves. So it's actually a skill that needs to be developed and can be developed. As we talked a little bit about the science showing that those who are more self-compassionate tend to really stick to their goals better. So something that you might want to consider is a course we offer. We are going to be offering an 8-week mindful self-compassion course on Saturday mornings starting on January 23rd, where specific practices that are evidence-based are used to increase our own compassionate inner voice. So I hope you'll think about that. And I also hope to see you at all of our meditations every Wednesday. Thank you for joining me today, and have a wonderful evening. And I hope to see you soon. Bye, everybody.